Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and a Lego set, and of course, to hang out with all of you. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave Lego site, the moat in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can apply with those moats. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hi. You don't have to say anything at all if you don't want to. If you are more of an observer and less of a chatter, you don't have to worry about that. You can just chill and relax. Listen to my voice, check in now and again, have another tab open, view as you like. You got those options. I just want to say hello to Aristophan and Mr. Haydel and Dude Wants His Rug. Welcome, everybody. Happy to have you here. Again, this is the intro portion of our stream. We are hanging out here, waiting to see if a few more folks want to join us. We're giving them time to be fashionably late. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. And originally, this was because back when I first started streaming, I had this idea that if I just and Nate is here too. Welcome, Nate. If I just hit stream and started talking, no one would be there, and I would just be talking to no one. So that's why we do the pre-show, where I just have music playing and I have the logo up, and then people can kind of come in. It's this. This is up. When I start, and I just have that kind of running for a little while, for like 6 minutes or so. Let people come in, and then I'll do the intro portion. Well, what I don't want to do is just leave that up for a very long time because people lose interest. But also, as you may be aware, folks are under no obligation to show up when I start. Maybe they didn't notice that I went live. They're doing other stuff. Maybe they're watching another stream and they're going to jump over. Maybe 9 p.m. Eastern is 6 p.m. Pacific. And it's just people are trying to get stuff done before I start streaming. They're trying to wrap stuff up, but I want to accommodate folks and I want to have a good time and hang out with all of you. So I start doing the intro portion of the stream, which is just an attempt to not stall for time, but allow folks to come in. And there are many of you that are here right at the beginning, which I always appreciate. And there are folks that come and go throughout the night. There are people that are going to be seeing Gunpla in the Makers and Crafting tab. And are going to be like, oh, I'll check out Gunpla. That sounds fun. There are going to be folks who are coming in because they saw Lego and they were like, I would like to do that. So maybe we'll have a few people join us there. And of course, there are a few people probably tonight that are going to be coming in because they joined us last night. And we'll talk about that as we get going. The benefits of doing that. Now, have I ever, on the scale of what Abby did for me last night, done that for another streamer? Certainly not on the scale, but I certainly know there are a few of you out there that watch other streams specifically because I introduced you to them or reinforce it, or at the very least I give you something to do after the stream. So that's important to me to raid, and we end every stream with a raid unless the stream has been like only a few minutes and I'm just fucking pissed off. I have ended a stream like that once or twice, generally on Wednesdays. There was this was like early on in my streaming when I was only doing Wednesdays once a month. So this wasn't a weekly thing. I was doing it like once and then eventually twice a month. But it was my Wednesday and we were going to play Jackbox, and like 40 minutes in, we did not have enough people for Quiplash. It was just I hadn't built the momentum of Wednesday night being the night to come play games with me. The consistency wasn't there. I think I was only streaming Thursdays and Saturdays at that point. I hadn't included the Monday stream. And I just had a night where it was just like we just didn't have enough people to come together. And then there was one person that showed up that was a jerk. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Good night, everybody. I'm not opposed to leaving a stream because I'm not having a good time. In the same way that, similar way that we did when I was working on the puzzle, the Animal Crossing puzzle, I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep doing this. And I think that's okay. I think that's all right. I mean, I gave Power Wash Simulator last night longer than it deserved, considering the current issues that it is facing. I got a tweet from them because I was mentioning how I was having a bad time with their game suddenly. They said they're looking into it. They don't quite know why the stuttering is happening, but they're looking into it. And I hope they figure it out because I like that game. And I bought it in early access, and it isn't fun to play right now. But yeah, I mean, like that is calling it audible is a thing that like I'm okay with doing. Sometimes the internet connection's bad. We've had, streams. Yeah, there was a real bummer about Power Wash Simulator. Yeah, and I feel also bad because we had switched over to Dork Romantic, and then shortly after, we had the influx of friends join us. We had a bunch of people come in to hang out from the raid, and I would have loved to show them Power Wash Simulator because I don't know if they've saw that. I'm glad to show them Dork Romantic, but Power Wash Simulator is a little more lively. It's a little more like, it's a little more colorful. Oh, 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 Mister. But glad you powered through it. But but yes. But I did want to at least show some of the areas and the vehicles and show off some of the world. And when you weren't power washing, you could move around pretty good. We need to wash away those puns. But y'all are great. I appreciate you all. But yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, I want that game to be better. It was really fun to stream before. I wanted to showcase it last night, and it was kind of tough. All right, yes, Aristofan, if we don't nip this in the bud, there will be a steady stream. Anyway, I'm going to, before I get swept away, oh, Mr. Hadel wants me to ring the bell using the 1,000, so I'm going to ring that bell. Ringing that bell. Transition. All right, I'm going to tweet out my follow-up tweet that I always do where I'm like, intro's done. We're going to work on this Gundam because that's what's happening. We're going to go to the overhead. Actually, I want to do this. I'm going to check this out here. Apparently this car is legendary, which is cool. The Lego set we're going to build is apparently legendary, is what I've been told on Twitter just now. We're going to go to the overhead. If you have missed this, if you haven't been here past couple streams, hi, Pat. My cat liked the bell, says Julie. Oh, that's great. I'm glad your cat liked the bell. Also, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. We are almost done with the Moon Gundam. This is the Moon Gundam. As you can see here, we got our friend here in our bluish purple and white and red. Very classic. And then we have the Moon with its semi-clear red pieces here that are, if you can look at this extra piece here, it's pretty see-through. And then I did all this panel lining for no reason because it's on the back of it, but it does make it look cooler. And then this is going to connect. It's basically going to attach here on the back of it, and then it'll have a crescent moon, which is pretty neat. But in order to get that on there, we have to build a stand because as you can imagine, I could take the part, swap this with that, put it right there, and just attach it. That's not going to work. This is going to need a stand. So we have to build a stand. So this is the high grade. Now, normally at a high grade, you're going to get a really cheap, clear stand that comes with this, if it comes with a stand at all. In this case, we are building a stand that is going to go on this. This is more of their a bigger kind of stand for a high grade. Also has clear. It is see-through, which is unnecessary, but sure, I'll take it. And all the connector parts for it are also clear. And I don't know why they did that, but I'll take it. It's fine. So we're going to assemble that. All right, so we need part 22 and part 23, which are these parts here. 22 and 23. Yeah, okay. Do you worry much about the little nubs left over after removing them from the runner? Like you sanding and such, or only when they're obvious? So, for the process, for the purposes of streams, I don't worry about it. I have a sanding stick, and I will take care of that. Now, for a high grade, I am basically removing the nubs with the snipper clips. I am trying to be particularly careful about colors that look like they would have a discoloration if I get too close. Now there is a method with these snippers which actually do a very good job. Is if you're particularly worried, you can do, instead of clipping here, I'll do one clip like you normally would, clip that and clip that. Now what I can do separately is I can clip away from it on these, and I'll clip away from it, which will leave a little bit of a nubbin if I clip on the opposite. So I'm leaving a little nubbins here, which you might be able to see here on the circle, There's a little nubbin sticking off that. And then I will hit a perpendicular cut to what I did before, which will theoretically, and I could do another cut like if I want to do that, theoretically it will leave far less of a nubbin. So if I clipped it along there, I go along there, and I just get a bit of a closer cut. It does leave a bit of a discoloration, which I could hit with a file, or I could have filed it right there. For personal projects, I might be looking at doing that. But since I am doing this, basically I'm not speeding through, but I'm not being as careful as I could be because I am doing this on stream and trying to look at other things. And I'm also giving myself the forgiveness that this doesn't have to be perfect. They can just be fine. I'm doing my very first gunpla currently. It's a master grade, so I'm trying my best, but also not letting myself obsess over too much, since I know a lot of them won't be super visible once finished. Yes, totally. Also, you are certainly aware that you can just snip it again. You can file it. Getting a instead of using sandpaper, getting a sanding stick. Sanding sticks were not a thing I knew about when I first started doing model kit building back in the 90s of all times. I was not aware that sanding sticks were a thing that existed and you could use. So I would do it with sandpaper. I would get a sandpaper that I had taped the back of the sandpaper to a tool, and I would use that. And then I would have to constantly put new sandpaper on it. And so that was my solution. Which worked out fine. It wasn't a great solution, but it worked. But now I have some sandpaper sticks of different grades, and I will use that on occasion. But yeah, I mean, like I said, most of it is just I am also a thing you could do. Look, if I really wanted to really take my time with it, what I would do is, instead of using these very nice snipper clips to remove this, I would use clips that are not as nice to make big cuts to remove that, and then I would use the snips to go in and make really small cuts. Harold just subscribed to Tier 1. That's 43 months. Thank you so much, Harold, for renewing your subscription. Appreciate that very much. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, and, of course, the site, the emote into chat. Yeah, throw some emotes in there. I got to refresh something here. Sorry. On occasion, in the dashboard, I lose control of my own emotes, which is very strange. Spen is here too. Welcome. But Harold, yeah, thank you so much for renewing your subscription. You know, I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you for your continued support. But yeah, there are a bunch of methods I could do. I have found what works best for me as far as being a streamer and getting this done. And then, you know, it's not necessarily what I recommend. The big thing I would say is you're working on a master grade. That's a good size kit, you know, good scale, I would say. Just take your time with it. Just make cuts that you're like, I'm happy about this cut. I'm making this cut. I'm happy about this. And yeah, good luck with it. And, you know, yeah, I think the best thing to do is just, you know, take your time with all your builds, because otherwise you don't want to make a cut that you can't take back, because then you have to get liquid cement or bonding, another bonding agent, and you got to do surgery on it, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's not fun to have to do that. So, okay, so that goes like that, and it goes in like that. These connect. We don't really need to make this. We could just call it a day, but I do want to make the stand and go through the motions. It's been a little while since we built a stand that the kit came with, like this size. So we'll do that. Yeah, I've enjoyed doing it just a little bit each day, surprisingly relaxing. Yeah, I mean, so some of the like bigger, I've had kits that were not fun, but for the most part, I very much constantly still enjoy working on model kits. They're still just really fun to work on. Tiny decals, yes. Decals are always tough. Stickers are always tough. That is why I don't have it on here, because this kit didn't have any stickers. But I used to, back in the day, I would use either tweezers or I would use a sponger. Now this sponger I will be using for the Lego decals, because they are bigger generally and easier to use, and also you can remove it and kind of fix it if a problem. But I have an X-Acto knife that I now use for stickers for decals for Gunpla, and the X-Acto knife is great for that, like getting underneath it, pulling it out, and then applying it. Although tweezers are also pretty solid for that as well. And over time, you just find stuff that works for you. The spongers are from a little kit that I got that is meant for people working on like smartphone repair and stuff. But they're plastic tools, and I like using plastic tools to work on model kits because metal is going to bend or break or distort the plastic, whereas the plastic tools will hopefully not damage anything. Instead, they'll get damaged, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with my $13 like kit suffering some damage so I can pry apart pieces if I really fuck up. But hopefully I won't really fuck up. That's also the hope, is that I don't fuck up. All right, so this is going to go like this, and then the lock's in place. Yes, okay. So you can see here, this joint moves, and then you pull back to lock it in place, and then that joint doesn't move anymore, which is neat. And we're going to do that with both of these here, and then we will combine them together, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so last night, if you weren't here on the stream last night, it was very fun. We unfortunately did run into some issues with Power Wash Simulator where a recent update made it less than playable, and that was a shame. It did show off some locations, but we didn't get to really wash anything because as soon as we started power washing, it became very clear that things were not great. So that was bad. I will say that was a bad time. But it was still fun to check it out, hang out with all of you. And then we went back to Dorf Romantic, and I beat my personal high score, which is great. And that was very fun and relaxing. I had a good time with that. Yeah, we got to hang out. That was neat. We did have a raid last night from Abby Russell, which is always appreciated. Do I like the term raid? No. I think the term raid has a negative connotation in as far as streaming. And I think that they should have chosen a different name for it. But I do appreciate that we did have people join us and interested in seeing what we did. Had that big, we had some people gifting some subs. We had some people subscribing for themselves. We had a plethora of follows. We had a follow party where I kept trying to read all the names of the people that were following. And then people kept following because I was doing that and clearly sweating it, and which was unintentional but very fun. I appreciated that the jokiness of that. All right, so these are locked, and then this is locked. But you're like, Pat, this isn't locked. What do we got to do there? Well, we got to put a part in here that will keep this. Ooh, well, actually, we did slightly wrong. As you can see, you're looking and you're going, Pat, this seems like you did this wrong because this should be facing this part. And the answer, and you're right, I messed this up. So we got to take this off here. So we're going to disconnect that, and then we're going to put it in the right place. We did the right way now. Great. So now it's the right way. So now we can put a little bridge here thing that will connect these two together. And we're going to do that with a 7. Little bridge parts here. We have other options of stuff here, but basically this is just going to help us lock this in place so this won't go anywhere. And then we can put that into another part, which is here. The nice thing about this kit is you can put the actual Gundam in the stand, or if you wanted to, you could just put the what do you call it? Oh, you could just put the Moon in the stand to have it stand in front of it. Like just hang out in front of it and then just do that. But I don't know why. I don't quite know why you would do that, but you could do that. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna put that like that. I'll put this like this. Yeah, that'll be good. And we can, adjust this as you want, obviously. And there are this little bridge thing here to make this like. There are some other sizes that comes with. There's a longer piece and a shorter piece that comes with as well. But I think we'll do that because basically I'm going to want this to like hang out like this. on it. So we'll do that. And then we need 13, which is part of the stand. And this has a lot of other stuff because this piece here, this is a new, I believe. I believe this is the only thing that was from a previous stream or kit. Trying to read the year on it. 2017, yeah. So this is from 2017. So it has a lot more options that we aren't going to use here. But this is something that I'm probably going to save along with this because these parts are helpful for other, for me trying to make other stands. It's like helpful to have. And there are third-party stands you can buy on like Amazon or at a hobby shop or whatever if you want to do that. And then this kit does have a connector, which is on D, which came with the kit, and that is kind of specific to this Moon Gundam. Depending on the Gundam or the mobile suit. Some of them are like in between the legs. There will be a slot that you go to the stand. This one has this little connector, which is going to hop in here on the back, and then it will pop on here. So I'm going to do this on the Gundam, on our Moon Gundam. Pop this on the back. Oops, that came off, which not surprising, but we can snap that back on. And then this will go onto here on our stand and connect there. And now our Gundam stands up. Oops. It's not the most solid connection, unfortunately, for jostling, but when it's flat, it's fine. So it just kind of lives right there. You can see, just hangs out, and it's just standing up. And you can action pose it and do whatever you want and adjust it for whatever you need. I'm holding the axe. I got to put a blade on that, but I want to do that. And now we can attach that. So we could just attach this to here, but instead we are going to attach it onto, we're going to attach the moon onto the, right onto the Moon Gundam. And for that we need D21. And I think I talked about this before. You can remove like sections. They can go on the arms. There's like a lot of stuff that can go there. The T has a question. What purpose does the moon serve in fiction? So, what are these called? These are referred to in the show, in the fiction world. These are the psycho plates, if I remember correctly. And I'm going to exactly look this up because I don't remember exactly. Moon Gundam. I believe they collect energy to refocus it. I believe similar a bit to like the Gundam X has its energy collection. I believe, and they can also be used as shields and as weapons. It is a Psychomu armament that drifted to Moon. What? Along with the head? All right, I'm going to look this up. Luckily, there's a wiki. Whenever needed, there's a wiki. Okay, so it's a unit secretly developed by the remnants of the Titans. Each of the plates connected to form a half moon during standby and are separated when deployed. They can be incorporated into the structures, and they become both offensive and defensive unit that are remotely controlled by the pilot's brainwaves. So basically, they, so they're kind of like solar panels, but they're also weapons because they can disassemble from one another and fly around. So they're a little bit like funnels. And you can have them on your arm there as like a shield, and you can send them out, and they do stuff, I guess. I haven't seen the Moon Gundam a lot of this kit in action, so I believe that is what's going on with this thing. But when they're in standby mode, they're just hanging out on this Gundam, just chilling, doing their thing. But yes, it is. Whereas, yeah, they can move around more by brain waves, which is more than like the Gundam X kit and the Gundam Double X, which is just, it has a giant cannon, and it doesn't store energy to use that giant cannon. It instead, on the moon, which is probably maybe a little inspiration for this, there is a moon base that sends the energy down to the things on its back. And originally in the X, it looks like an X on the back, and then later they added more plates because it's a double X, so they got to make it look differently. I wanted to look it up. Apparently, it's exclusive to a manga, so that's interesting. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, I haven't seen much of the Moon Gundam other than it looking rad as hell. So that does make sense that it is a manga. Okay, so this is gonna go like this. So we take one of these off. These connector things that these will pop around and pull out, and then you could put plates on them. But we can take that off, and then we put this on. And then when we put this on, we can then pop this on here. I often say that the coolest Gundam the coolest Gundam that was not on a TV show is the Crossbone Gundam, and this is certainly a cool Gundam. I don't think it's as cool as the Crossbone Gundam, which we are going to build in the future because we did pre-order it. Let me show you. I believe I have the Crossbone here somewhere. Yes, we're building the Crossbone X2 Verka, which is this incredible kit right here, which I'll make bigger so you can see. We're going to make that in the future because I have pre-ordered it. This is the Verka. Is normally not this color scheme, but it's a pirate-themed mobile suit Gundam with like a lance, and it's that color scheme. And I was like, well, I'm going to... Like, there were other cool things for when that went for pre-order, and I was like, I'm buying this one. And there was even another of the variations of that Gundam, of the Crossbone. And I think we built the super deformed, the chibi version of that. But that's the wrong one. But yeah. But I was like, no, I'm gonna build that one. All right, so we have now put our moon on here. We got our moon. We're just gonna put a weapon on this, and then we will be ready to take photos and call this a build. Oh yeah, it's a great color scheme. So here is our Moon Gundam with its crescent moon plates. But let's build some weapons. I've never seen a Gundam, but I always plan to watch it solely because I wanted to get in Super Robot Wars. So, look, I've had this conversation before. Some people disagree with me about, like, what's a Gundam to watch? If I want to watch a Gundam, what Gundam should I watch? And there are... good night, Harold. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Look, there are a lot of different thoughts out there about what Gundam to watch. I say that you should watch Iron Blooded Orphans because it's a modern Gundam series in that it is in HD, and it is not part of the main storyline, so you don't have to have years and years of knowledge about Gundam. It's called Iron Blooded Orphans, and it is sad, obviously. But it is an incredible story, and I think it's told very well, and I think it holds up. Other people say, like, oh, you could watch, like, Build Fighters, which is, like, a kid show, and, like, is kind of fun, because it's, like, for kids, but it has the history of Gundam involved in it, and is a love letter to Gundam, which I don't disagree with in any way, shape, or form. But it's not my vibe. It is other people's vibes. So, there's definitely a world where that is totally cool and the thing you should watch. The original Gundam, certainly. Either that or the origin movies. Certainly, I think, like, people say, hey, you start with the beginning with Gundam. I can see why they would say that. I don't agree with it, but I can see why they would say that. I started with Gundam Wing, which is... I can't tell you if Gundam Wing holds up. I love it to death. It's the second ever Gundam series to try to be different. It is a shonen-esque Gundam series, and it fails in some interesting ways and succeeds in interesting ways, and I love it. I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if you should watch it, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that, like, and understand, like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to, like, know, because it's my first Gundam and I love it. Like, I don't know if I could ever be not biased about how great it is. 8th MS Team is a Gundam series that people love tremendously, and I totally understand why, because it is incredible, and that is a series that people are like, that is an interesting starting point, because it is a small, short little series to try to get a sense of, it tells a great little story. Yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff. out there. Stardust Memories, the 83, maybe. That could be a place to start. I don't know. I will say, you don't want to start with the weirdest Gundams. This is an easy thing to say. You don't start with G Gundam. Because, one, all of the problems that G Gundam has. But two, G Gundam is trying to do something incredibly different. It succeeds in doing something incredibly different. Because it is a fighting anime. It's a fighting series. It's a shonen, but it's a fighting series. It's just remarkably different from everything else that exists in the world of Gundam. And then beyond the fact that there is lots of just incredibly racist content in it, or at the very least racial content in it, it's a bummer. But it also has really interesting design. I really like the story for what it is. And Domon, the main character, is one of my favorite Gundam pilots. So it's hard to be like, it's hard not to love it. It just isn't. It's not a good first Gundam series. I started watching Massacre and it has some kind of rough sexism, but also just like very weird in a good way. Yeah, Massacre is weird and it is mostly in a good way, but yeah, it is also anachronistic of its time. I would almost definitely start with the original because I want to start Super Robot Wars from the start. Yeah. I hadn't seen a Gundam before and just decided to go with the original. It definitely has rough patches, but I'd be surprised how much I enjoyed it. I mean, look, the real thing is, it is a space soap opera. Is it Legends of Galactic Heroes level of space opera? In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. But it is trying to do something. It is trying to live the dichotomy of making a show about how robots are awesome, but also making a show about how robots are the worst thing that could have happened to humanity. These Gundams. These Gundams are the cause and effect, and the problem. They are incredible, and also, oh no, we made Gundams. Yeah, and the animation is beautiful. It was clearly painstakingly done. The voice acting is great. There's all incredible amounts to love about the original. Robots are cool and you should buy them. War is bad and you should not buy that. Yes, buying model kits of robots is cool. Supporting the wars and the crimes and the atrocities that are committed in using them is not cool. Someone described Gundam to me years ago as very cool robots, very sad young people. Hey, when will they learn that dropping a colony on Earth is a bad idea? And I was like, yep, that's pretty much Gundam. Also, sometimes a villain has a really cool mask, and you're like, ooh, I don't want to like you, but I like that mask. That's another Gundam thing. That's not exclusively a Gundam thing, but it is a very big Gundam thing. Yes, Char, indeed. Char and his charter points. I was trying to say counterpoints, but make it Char. That would read better. But his contemporaries, Char likes. So the T, there are masked characters. Some of those masked characters are not villains or anti-heroes. Some of them are just heroes. But instead of a character in a mask, they might be a German ninja for some reason. Yes, they also, generally, the villains have cool mechs or their own Gundams. But yeah, Wing has its masked character. G Gundam has its masked character. There are masks in many, many Gundam series. We're done with this kit. We did our energy weapon, which is kind of unique and I love. We got our gun, which is very basic. That was 2 pieces. That's a high grade for you. This Char Zaku 2 is a classic. Is an unbelievable, wonderful kit. But yeah, there's a reason why that's a classic. It's so great. Have you ever done some other mech builds? I've made a few Armored Core kits a while back. They were cool looking when they were done. So we've done pretty recently. I did some Zoids. I've done many Zoids. In the 90s, I built a lot of Zoids. And I've only done it twice on stream. I haven't done anything from Armored Core. I had bad luck doing one of those Transformers kits that obviously they don't transform, but they are a model kit. I did not enjoy that. That was a company that starts with an F made that, and I did not enjoy it. I have stuck mostly. Oh, you've never really thought of Schwartz as a char like? Yeah, Lashbrook, to me, Schwartz is a char like, because he is the masked figure presenting himself as a villain. Look, is he more of a speed racer of X, like from Speed Racer, Racer X? Yeah, he's more of a Racer X than a Char, but he is that show's Char. Um, so I've really stuck with Gundam and Bandai. I've done some other Bandai kits. I did when I first started out. I was getting real into the X-wing kits, which I enjoyed. The Star Wars kits. Although the Star Wars kits are very easy, they're high grades up until the point where suddenly they become real grades, and they are not super fun. And I did not enjoy that. You're eyeing the Valkyrie from Makra, so that's awesome. Lashbrook, I can see I can understand why you don't think of Schwartz as a char like. But I think for that show doesn't have that show has characters who are actually the villains the whole way, but that show also makes the cardinal sin, in my opinion, of one of the villains is a character that we don't see through most of the show. One of the persons that caused a lot of the problems that we had is a relative that is not involved in the show for most of it. And I'm like, come on, have that character involved. That felt like a cop-out. All right, so I'm going to take a couple photos of this because we are done with the Moon. In the name of the Moon, I finished the Moon Gundam. Also, I've built some other stuff that are Bandai related over the years. My hope is that the live action Cowboy Bebop is not terrible. It could be bad. It could be fine. I will hope it's not terrible. And two, my hope is that they re-release at a price point that is reasonable. The only kit from Cowboy Bebop that came, there's two kits there's statues that came out of Faye's ship, but the Swordfish 2, there's a model kit of the Swordfish 2, and it's like $80 if you're lucky, because they didn't make they're re-releasing it. So I'm hoping they re-release it at a price point or do a new mold of it. I'm hoping that the Netflix series is so good that they put out shit so I can buy it. I don't think that Faye's ship ever had a model kit. Maybe it has. I know it had an action fit. It had a statue, because a friend of mine had it. All right, I'm gonna take one more photo of this so you can see so I can show the Moon part of that on the side. Let's do it like this. We're gonna get under the light here. Yeah, that's cool. But if I get the Valkyrie model, I would... Oh, hey, Jim, welcome. I would want to buy the full line of kits for the plain, half-transformed, and full mech. Ooh, yeah, Dirty, I can see that. Also, I'm keeping my eye out to see if I can get the little mech... there's a mobile suit... mobile suit. There's a model kit for the mechs in... what is the name of that show? I gotta look up 80-something or other it's called. So I'm going to look it up on AndyChart here. Looking spring. 86. Oh, sorry. 86. It's 86 is the name of it. 86 has some mechs, and there is there is like variations of it, but they put them. It's all the same kit. They put out a variation of it, and I was keeping my eye on that. I haven't watched the show, but it looked pretty cool. It's just the price point wasn't something I was interested in getting because I don't think it's available, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled because maybe it'd be fun to build. But anyway, speaking of fun to build, this Moon was fun. It's a little frustrating getting this to stay on, but like this went together very easy. Other than that, and the head was a little weird, but we got it done. So overall, pleased with this kit. Happy to put it aside. We're going to say, goodbye, Moon. And now we're going to move over to the Audi Sport Quattro S1, which people were very excited about. Now, this comes in 2 bags. I have removed the contents of the kit from the bag. I have my brick separator, which we'll use over here. I will have this tool to help this spudger to help apply stickers. Car, indeed. Oh, I want to thank Jam. Jam picked this up from my Amazon wish list. Thank you very much, Jam, for picking up this cool car. Appreciate that. And we do have decals. We got plenty of decals because it's an Audi. So we got to put some decals on this thing. This is part of the Speed Champion series. So we'll put that over here because we will need that later. And the first thing we're going to do here. Oh, sorry. So this is a 250-piece kit. We do have our driver here. We'll put the helmet on there. The driver does come with two faces. I'm ready to do this, and oh no, what have I gotten myself into? But let's have confidence in our driver. Overconfidence, perhaps, but I'd rather have confidence than a lack thereof. All right, so box, we got all the pieces out. What do we do here first? Well, we got a knoll. Well, first, actually, what we got to do is take our tools and put them aside because we don't need any of our model kit tools. We have to knoll, and we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate. Turn the helmet on backwards, and the oh no face makes even more sense indeed. We're going to separate by color, and then we are going to organize by piece. So I'm just putting things along here. I'm going to be putting them at the edge of my screen. I'm just separating by color. One thing I'm looking for is to make sure that my light grays and my dark grays are separated here because even though the lighting is good, my eyes aren't the best in the world. And sometimes I can grab the wrong thing, and suddenly I've put all of one piece in the wrong, or one of these pieces in the wrong thing and messed up. So I'm just separating, and then if there's like a thing like there's not a lot of red and orange here, I'm going to put the red and orange together. I'll put the clear together. I have got two different kinds of clear, and I'm just going to try to organize this stuff in some way, shape, or form so that I can find them easier, and also so I don't just have a giant pile, I have a smaller pile. So I'll do something like this where I have put the flat and 1x2s on top of each other, and then I can find the stack of those. I've got these here like this, and it just makes my life easier to then find them because now I'm not like digging through a big pile. While this is not, we call this knolling in the business. Knolling has origins outside of this particular thing. Knolling basically was a photography style of taking all the components of an object, laying them all out in an organized manner, and then taking photographs of that. That is where knolling started from. But it has been adopted by the building community and the assembly community decades and decades ago of a way of organizing everything in a project. Because that way you can get the clear sense of what you're doing. Oh, also, instead of a helmet, we can just put hair on this person. We just have the hair, but I like the helmet, so we're going to go with the helmet. We'll just put the helmet on, and then we have extra hair, and also they include an extra one of the helmet pieces there, which is nice. But yeah, so really this is just a way to organize things, make your life easier, separate by color, and then instead of being like, okay, I need one of these, I was watching someone do a Lego build not too long ago, and I will not say who, but they had a big bowl with all the parts in the bowl, and then they would just dig for the bowl for every piece they needed. And I was not the only person going, oh, just null it. Just, even if you just did one bag at a time, instead of putting all the bags, just go one bag at, oh, please stop doing this. This hurts. But I did not say anything in chat because I was going to suffer silently. At that point, get multiple bowls. Exactly. So this, as I said, this did have 2 bags. So I could have just done 1 bag at a time, but because it's only 2 bags, it's not too many pieces. I am just going to null all of it at once because it's 250 pieces, which is not too bad. Folks that watch me do that Stranger Things build, you know that was a nightmare because it was a pre-owned kit, whereas if it had not been a pre-owned kit, I would have just done 1 bag at a time as I went, and it would have been a lot easier. But because it was a pre-owned kit, I couldn't do 1 bag at a time, Instead, I was like going ahead of myself and just going through slowly and pulling everything I needed out ahead of time, and like basically doing mini knolling as I went. And that worked, but was not ideal. It was a little bit of a bad time, but we got it done, and the results were a fantastic kit that I have not broken down yet, but will break down at some point. I can't bring myself to break that down because it is so cool and took 8 streams, 7.5 streams, something like. It took a long time to build that kit, so I am not. I'm not prepared yet to disassemble it. Disassembling is very fun. I got I have a 3-in-1 kit that I've got to build at some point. The Fire Dragon, because it's a Fire Dragon, and it's a saber-tooth tiger, and it's a scorpion. And I will be building that at some point. And that is a 3-in-1. So those, you're meant to completely disassemble it and then build the new one. And I put in my Amazon wish list a mech. There is like a space mech, mining mech Lego thing that is a couple different robots that looked pretty neat. And we did the undersea mech, the water mech, not a couple years ago. That was very fun to build. I do like that Lego is just like, yeah, here, look, I get it. You want to build a robot? Add a Lego. I'll help. I very much appreciate Lego's dedication to making sure I get to build cool robots. Because even while we're building Lego, we can still build cool robots. And it is appreciated. So I'm just knolling by parts here. Let's see. Is there anything else going on? Okay, I can tell you that today I did a couple hours. I worked in the afternoon for a couple hours doing customer service. My big takeaway is that people continue to not understand what business days are. Especially, maybe people don't like, even people that understand what business days are, they don't understand that business days go away. They don't happen on days where the mail isn't delivered. So like a holiday, like they're like, yeah, but I didn't get it. I didn't want it delivered on Monday. So why is it delayed? And it's like, it's not delayed. But there was a holiday on Monday. So that doesn't count as a day. Also, sometimes people are just like so psyched that you replied to their problem and that you are making an attempt to help them. Sometimes people are just so fucking psyched that that they have been heard in any way, shape, or form, and you just have to assume that they don't get that from many people in their lives, which is a fucking bummer. But there are some people who are just like, oh God, who hurt you? Because you just assume I'm going to as well. Oh no. If I can help you, I will. Because it sounds like you have been fucking going through it. It's nice to help people. And then sometimes you don't help people. And they are mad that you cannot help them. They think they should be getting accommodated. And you're like, but we didn't fuck up. And no one fucked up but you. You fucked up. So what do you want? Ugh. It's a lot, folks. I do a lot of like, just like, cursing the sky kind of stuff. I seem to remember my niece being in a Lego-sponsored class before she learned basic programming and Lego robot building with a contest at the end of the course. Ooh, dirty. That sounds pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, there's, there are plenty of like, I have friends who definitely went above and beyond when it came to Lego. Mindstorms. Okay, maybe, yeah. Or they were doing stuff with programming and the techno stuff and having a good time with that. I mean, that was never my thing. My Lego was always just, I want to build Lego. I'm going to build the thing in the booklet, and then I'm going to build my own thing. It was only for teen girls going into high school. That's neat. That's cool. I like that. So it's a little like STEM kind of a thing. Hey, this is not a sticker. You would have assumed this was a decal that goes on the over the engine, the hood, but this is a printed. This is that's cool because this is a big piece. This would have been annoying to put on, so I don't mind that at all. Normally, you really only see these on things like or also they're on here as well, but usually like display screens, like computer displays, will have that in some Lego builds. Not all of them, but some do. All right, so we are just slowly knolling everything we need to knoll. And then we're going to just start organizing it by color and shape and finding what we need to do. And while some people would say this is, oh, you should just get and build it. Who cares? Believe me, this makes such a difference in building even a kit this size. Like just being able to be like, okay, where are my tires? Oh, here are all 4 tires. They're right over here. I can find them. No problem. I found all my tires. Hooray, we did it. It's just so much easier. It makes my life so much easier just to be like, oh, over here, and we got them. Let's see. Anything else happened to me today? I watched some of the streams for Waypoint. Our Waypoint is streaming some again. There was a stream over on Waypoint this afternoon where Rob and Austin were joined by special guest Vinny Caravella. And they watched it had already aired, so they didn't watch it live. They watched the tape of the Warhammer announcement for, hey, I don't know if you know this, there are a lot of Warhammer video games. You missed it. Yeah, that was on Today at the T, so it should be archived on Waypoint's Twitch channel. There are a lot of games coming out for Warhammer. Yes. Yes, don't care. Yes, so here's the thing. I kind of care about Warhammer. I more care about Vinny and Austin together doing a thing. I care about that very much. So that was very fun to hang out for that. And them just being like, oh, yeah, I know what this is. I don't know what that one is. Oh, I know what this one is. Oh, I don't know what this is. Wait, what's that? That was very fun. So I watched that. That was today. It's not that long of a stream, but it was nice to see that. Look, have not been asked. I have not been instructed to do this. This is not in any way, shape, or form, sponsored or approached by. But if you're looking for some more, more podcasting stuff to listen to, you can waypoint.zone/subscribe. You can join if interested. Waypoint Plus. It is a subscription model, $5 a month to get bonus audio content. The streams are a byproduct of that. Q Cubed. Just subscribed at tier 1 for 2 months in advance. That's 9 months. Hey, thank you for subscribing in advance. I appreciate that. Listen to the Bear Cave Lego Seth Emo. I love seeing people pay in advance. That is very nice of you. That is something you don't need to do, but I appreciate it very much. So I'm going to throw some emotes in there. Thank you, Q Cubed. At the end of it, they were like, name every Warhammer game we just saw, which is a very fun game because this Warhammer Direct was just like trailer, photo trailer, maybe voiceover, mostly not voiceover, or just the game voiceover, and then they like cut back to the host at the end, and it was like, wow, that was tight and like just moved. That thing cooked. They were just like, and also this game, and here's a new mode for this thing. Did you know that Warhammer has a auto chess? They do. Here we go. And you're like, okay, fucking okay, sure, all right, calm down. But yeah, that was kind of fun to check out. But yeah, Waypoint Plus is their new subscription model for bonus podcast content that you could check out if you wanted to. I'm doing it. I'm happy to do it. It's $5. I'm actually downloading that Necromunda game right now. There you go. It explains why Total Warhammer is only $20 this weekend. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because they're promoting a bunch of stuff and try to get stuff together and get people to check it out. Um, yeah, I mean, I liked Space Marine. I bought Space Marine on the recommendation of other people. It was also, I believe, on sale when I got it. But I did enjoy Space Marine, knowing nothing about it other than I was like, this looks fun and this looks like a well put together video game, and it was. I enjoyed that game quite a bit. Uh, huh. This came connected. That's weird. Usually you have to do this yourself. That is an odd thing. Yeah, it's not. That is atypical. Normally, that is not done. Weird. But yeah, that was fun to watch while I was. I mean, like watch mainly, like really just listen to. Like I was just listening to them talk as I answered emails and tried to help people with some customer service stuff. Meatloaf tonight. No onions, unfortunately, in the house, so the meatloaf was a little different, but it was good. Hopefully, get back in the kitchen, do a little bit more soon. I would like to get in there and do a little bit. Coming up, I've got 2 nights, Sunday and Monday. My folks will be out celebrating their my dad's birthday, belatedly. So they're going to go out a couple nights, and I am on my own to figure out what I want to eat, and which has been a hot minute since I've done that. I mean, it'll be very simple, really very simple, just cooking for myself. It'll only 2 nights, but that's yeah, that'll be fine. I was thinking, I guess I could do a cooking stream on Monday. I'm not going to because I don't have enough time to prep for that. But I will do another cooking stream at a future date. So, and I'll give people notice. Also, I have to think of what I want to do. Like, I have an idea for one thing that I want to put together that I think people would like and we could try. But like, I don't have a big entree idea. I've done like my 2 favorite go-to entrees that you can do within the time allotted, hour and a half stream or whatever. But I've been thinking about wanting to do another one. So if I do that, obviously you'll know before. I'll give notice. But technically, Prepare with Baer, my cooking stream, doesn't have to be a Wednesday. It could be any of my regular dates because Build with Baer. Cooking is building. Following a recipe. I mean, especially if I am taking inspiration from one of the shows I am taking inspiration for, which somewhat regularly has cooking segments, Tinker Tailor Saw to Fry, over Ian's stream over at Loading Ready Run. He does cooking, among other things, and is one of the inspirations for this stream. All right, we are now ready to build, to construct, because we have separated all our pieces here. Turns out people eat every day, indeed. But it's that thing of like, it's my own thing of being like, okay, no, I mean, if I was going to eat something, if I was going to cook, I would do it on Wednesday because this is a building stream. Building streams, then Wednesday are my bonus stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if a cooking stream counts as a Monday, Thursday, Saturday stream. But I'm like, who cares? I make the rules. Got a box in the mail yesterday that Drunk Me ordered that had a bunch of condiment squeezing bottles, filled them with various oils, and labeled with a Sharpie. Hell yeah, dirty. Sometimes what did I just buy is actually a good thing. Not always, but sometimes wait, what did I buy? What was I thinking with this? Ends up turning to be okay. All right, so we got we're gonna build our car here. Start here with our frame, working on one part of our frame. And we'll do a couple steps here. We are going to take a pause for the cause in a moment. You've been watching a lot of cooking YouTubes. Hell yeah. We will take a pause for the cause in a moment too. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel. And then we'll get into Lego. But I want to do a little bit of Lego before we took our pause for the cause. Oh, yeah, we blew past that. Yeah, all right. We didn't blow past it. It's a little after 10. And also because I've got a lot of anime to talk to you about because the anime I watch on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, well, mostly Tuesdays and Wednesday because none of these shows are Thursday shows, but I often watch one of them on Thursday. Real good. I watch some real good anime. These are all real good shows for different ways. So that was fun to watch. Or it was fun. So I'll be happy to talk about them with all of you. I think we'll enjoy. I know that at least one of you watches a couple of the shows that I watch, so we'll talk about those. And here we go. Also, we have to complain about someone categorizing one of the shows as, when we get to it, as cottage core. And I was like, you can't just call things cottage core. It's an aesthetic choice. It's not just, don't call everything that is just chill cottage core. Also, the show isn't that chill. And I was like, that is not the proper description for what this show is. It's not cottage core. It's a romance show. It is actually very traditional. It is an old school traditional romance-led anime show. It's just the other genre it's in isn't known for that at all. And so people are like, wow, weird. So the T cottagecore is it's not new, but it's kind of like, some people might call it like aunt chic, like this like relaxing, cozy kind of like, the cottage part of cottagecore is the wicker, comfy pillows. It's this vibe of like that aunt you have that kind of lives on her own and like, the core. Well, it's like hardcore or like normcore. It's that kind of like it because it is a little hardcore in that it is like an aesthetic that people like take very seriously. But it's that kind of like, the witchy vibes that aren't like evil witchy, but like earth witchy. That kind of like crunchy. I think that's the calling everything core thing. Yeah, I agree. Again, cottagecore is not like a good name for what it is, and also is being misused in this case because it's just saying, oh, this show is more cozy than other shows. And it's just like, yeah, but that's not what this is. Like, it's not, because like, Laid Back Camp is cozy. And obviously, but like the show that I'll get to when we talk about it, I'm like, that's not, what are we doing here? I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way because I was like, that's not what we're doing. We don't need to be doing this. All right, so we're going to put this like this. I'm going to put this like this. Yeah. All right. Anyway, and it was an official, like, it's this person, it's the company that streams it calling it that. And I was like, nah. Okay, we're going to take a pause for the cause. For if you haven't been here before, you haven't been here in a while, what this means is I'm going to be talking about ways that you can support the channel if you're so inclined. You are under no obligation to support this channel in any way other than, you're not required to be here. It's great that you're here. If you don't want to do anything more than just hang out, chat a little bit, be around, that's okay. You don't have to do that. But if you want to hang out, that fucking rules. And I would love for you to hang out. And I appreciate you hanging out. So first and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the bear cave, the Lego, the site, the moat. Let people know that's what you get as a subscriber. You don't see ads when the stream starts. You don't get the ads come in. And I don't do subscriber only chat, but I could if things got busy. But for the most part, you get these cool emotes. You don't see ads, and I appreciate that you're here. If you have been you can become a subscriber using Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that gifted sub to a regular sub, and they won't charge you till your gift sub is over. If you wanted to join and gift a sub, we had Aristofan and Silver gifted subs, Silver Streak. You could join the gift sub leaderboard. There's an empty spot right there for you. Also, cheering. If you want to do any bits or coins, you could do bits and coins and join the cheer leaderboard. Always appreciate it. And yeah, gift subs, all that. These are things you could do. You don't have to do. I want to give a shout out to Poochie. I didn't notice that you gave me a follow. I appreciate that very much, Poochie. Thank you very much for that. And sorry I missed it. I occasionally get caught up in stuff and don't see when that happens. Alternatively, if you were like $5 a month on Twitch is not something I'm interested in doing. Well, I have different tiers over on my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1 tier, a $3 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. Oh, I want to put this there. I want to do that. So you could join at one of those tiers, and that would benefit me, maybe benefit you. And there are different rewards for different tiers. You're more than if you're more inclined to go that way instead of the Twitch route. I have a YouTube. Obviously, subscribing to YouTube is free, but if you wanted to, you could become a member at YouTube. That's $2 a month. So that's another option. And anything I make through YouTube, through PayPal, YouTube and Patreon and Twitch goes into buying model kits and equipment. And predominantly model kits. Because once I'm done building it, the Moon Gundam, I'm done with the Moon Gundam other than looking at it. Lego sets, build a Lego set, done with the Lego set. So if you're interested, you could do that. Support me in any way, in those ways, and I would appreciate it very much. Also, direct donations go into a fund which I buy model kits from. So you could do direct donations. I will put the link there. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, what's up, YouTube? You can find all this in the show description. And if you're watching this later on a VOD, what's up, VODers? You can find this just by opening up the chat. And you'll find all these links that I'm mentioning here. This was bought by Jam off my Amazon wish list. So I'm going to link that right now, my Amazon wish list, which if you buy something on my wish list, it'll come to me in the mail. You can include a note if you like. I will shoot a video about the thing you bought, letting people know, hey, this came in the mail and I'm going to build it. And then it jumps the queue. I have stuff to work on. I got very cool things to work on, which I'll talk about one of those in a little bit. But I will say, nope, not doing that because you bought a Lego set or a high grade kit or a master grade kit. You bought something off my wish list and now I'm building it next because you did that. I did want to point out that Lego set that I was talking about that's very cool. Ooh, the Ace moved down to $20. I'm going to rearrange this list here. That's very cool. Free shipping. It'll take a little while there. That dropped in price. That is the Audi Strike Gundam. A high grade that is now a fairly reasonable price. But yeah, I will buy stuff. You know, you buy things off the wish list. I'll buy stuff off the wish list myself. I'll build it. And that is a way to support what I do, is buying something off my Amazon wish list. Alternatively, and we'll get back to building very soon, folks. I just have to do my ads. I do this once per stream in the middle. I take a break to talk about ways you can support the channel because, you know, I got to. Alternatively, you go to USA Gundam Store. You could buy something on USA Gundam Store, a gift card specifically. You buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store, and they send you an email with a code, and then you send me that code through a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open. And I'll go, oh, cool. And then I'll buy something at USA Gundam Store. And that is an alternative to Amazon, because I know that's important. It's important to have. I have a Discord that is free. You can join my Discord. I post photos after every build stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's been very cool to track people's progress or just their completed works. There's a spot to promote yourself, and there's a general chat. Just be like, hey, what's up? It's a nice little Discord, and you can join that if you want. All right. Plugs of video plugs. Pat Bear's Anime Club is every other Monday. I have a new one coming out next Monday. But the last one I put up is about my favorite shows that revolve around food. These are shows, sometimes they're competitive, sometimes they're just cozy. Slice of life's about making food and having a good time. But these are the shows that if you ask me, like, hey, what are your favorite food shows on in anime? This is what I would say. So I made that. My next one is going to be about bad anime adaptations. A most recent example of one that really bummed people out, and why maybe it isn't a bad anime adaptation after all, or how it got to be one. So we're going to explore that. That's the next one. That's next Monday. Teasing it. Another video is Bear With Me is a reaction video series, but sometimes I do stuff a little differently than reacting. I'm doing like basically a lot of what the internet does here. I'm doing an unboxing. This is if you're a fan of premium Bandai model kits. If you're like from a distance, you're like, oh, these are cool. I'd go through a premium Bandai model kit that I pre-ordered back in January that just arrived. The Extreme Eclipse type Leos. Take it out of the box, look at all the parts, talk about the kit. It's an unboxing. I have never done an unboxing like that, but it came in the mail and I figured, why not turn the camera on and take a look at that? So that's this week's Bear With Me. Next week, I'll be back to reacting to videos. I got a good one that someone sent me. Okay, I'm going to get a drink of water. We're going to talk about some anime, and we're going to build more Lego. That's just a good time to talk about that. And yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity to stretch a little bit because I have been a little hunched over. And you could do that as well if you're so inclined. I'm going to drink a little water because I am interested in doing that. We'll get ready to back into this Audi. Looks like we didn't get a thunderstorm here. Knock on wood. We won't have one for the rest of the stream, which would be great because the last bad thunderstorm we had took out the internet for a while, which was a bad time. But yeah, we're going to get back to working on Lego here, and I'm going to talk to you about some anime. Okay, so we're at episode 9 of 12 of the Slime Diaries. We're now towards the end of the season, so I'm going to start keeping track about how many episodes we have left. So if you haven't been watching Slime Diaries, I definitely think it is worth watching if you liked the first season of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. If you have not watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, this would be a weird show because it kind of tells the story, but it focuses on extra content. It is written by the same manga author. It is a side manga. And it is an exploration. An odd thing about this one, as you'll see in this episode, is there have been characters, minor characters, who were cut out of the anime adaptation that have shown up in this adaptation. Because today, in this episode, on Tuesday, let's see, where are they? Oh, so Apito, the giant bee, like she's huge, and Zigon, who is a giant beetle, they're in the manga. They're not in the anime, but they show up here. They make honey and deliver the honey to Rimuru. Basically, they showed up as like smaller creatures looking for like sanctuary, and he was like, cool. And of course, in this one, Milliam, who is the demon lord, is like kind of her. She wants that honey, and they're like very terrified of her. And that is like totally reasonable. They would be terrified of her. It's winter, so Milliam has her first encounter with the Katatsu, which if you've watched anime, you know what that is. It's that table. It's like that living room table that has like fabric around it and always seems to have oranges on it. And people, because it's got a heater, the thing is that it's a table like this, and then there's like fabric, and then you stick your legs under the table and there's a heater in there. And so you're nice and warm. And then I don't know why you eat oranges. That's just the thing you do while sitting there. But Milliam is like, oh no, it's a trap. Which I love her reaction to, like, because she just gets like sleepy and like wants to take a nap. And I just think it's great. I just learned about what those are because of Animal Crossing. There you go, Animal Crossing, another way to find out what those are. But they're very much a part of anime, like breaking out the Katatsu, and sitting under there, and like how it is like you can get caught in one because it is so like warm that you're like, oh no, I got caught in it. It's mystical powers. Also, I do want to point out that Milliam, who is young looking, she's an ancient dragon, half dragon, half human. So she's got a humanoid form. I do want to point out that she is wearing a hoodie, and that is adorable, and it is just it's a great look. She's looking great. Let's see. Also, so it's the first winter of Tempest, because this is all just like gags, like quick little gags, right? It's the first winter of Tempest, so they're afraid that that people are new in their homes to keep warm. They're going to be having house fires, or cooking fires, stove fires, and they're afraid there might be you know, more fires happening because people aren't used to it. So they have the fire prevention crew, which is some of the guards, and they make the mascot of the fire prevention crew Benimaru because he's the guy that creates big balls of fire as one of his main arsenals, and he is not psyched about it, and it's very fun. Where he is like definitely not pleased that there's like an over-exaggerated cartoon of him as like the mascot for this, of like, don't be like Benimaru, don't light fires. He's like, I do not like this. Some of the dragon newts get sleepy because they want to hibernate, but not all of them, which is weird. I don't know. There's like a bunch of little tiny jokes here that happen. Oh, also I didn't mention about Zelon, the beetle. His voice actor has the deepest fucking voice. It's so deep and great. Let's see. Also, it's kind of neat. Let's see. The human adventurers get lost. This is how like Yom meets. And it's basically the same encounter that is in the manga and the anime of Yom just happened to be out there with his party and they helped out Eren and her crew, just kind of like accidentally. And in this case, they're all talking about meat and what kind of meats they like, and it's very silly. And then, the big story is an ongoing thing is that Trini, who is the druid, or not druid, dryad, who's basically the spirit and protector of the forest, she's like, oh, these people seem nice, and then she's like, we shouldn't be trusting the humans because the humans like her potato chips too much. They ate too many of her favorite potato chips, and so she's just like, they are not to be trusted. And then this actually happens in the manga, and they don't really do it in the anime. Is Yom has been asked to help out Rimuru, and he's like, I don't know if I want to listen to this monster, and I don't know. This seems like a weird thing. And in the manga, he like, all the townspeople are just like, hey, I heard you're friends with Rimuru. Hey, you're friends with Rimuru, right? You're a guest of Rimuru. Have this free stuff. And all the monsters really love him. And like, they go even overboard in this one. It is a very funny segment of him just being like, God, he's like, hey, everybody really likes you. And then Rimuru's like, yeah, I wish they didn't make food that looked like me, which is very fun. But you know, if you love a slime, you want to have that slime. You want to show that slime how much you love it by making foodstuffs that look like the slime because it's round. Also, apparently, a very small joke that I love. They don't call attention to. It just happens, and I love it. There is a apparently there are throughout the kingdom or the town. There are pillows that are just for Rimuru to sit on because, you know, he is the king or the chancellor. And I just think that is very cute. They just have like, yeah, oh, no. This is, you can't use that pillow for something else. That's for Rimuru. It's just cute. Again, especially if you were watching the Slime Diaries, or if you were watching The Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime and you were thinking, oh, season 2 got really dark. This went from like a weird isekai to like a very like traditional isekai, and it's kind of a bummer. Then maybe you will really enjoy Slime Diaries because it is silly fun. But that is also occasionally heartwarming, and that's just nice. The Saint's magic power is omnipotent is a show that Funimation, which it is on, described it as cottage-core isekai. And instead, they should just call it, like I've been calling it, an old-school isekai. Because, look, comparing that to the other isekai, like, I understand. If you compared that Saint's magic power is omnipotent with your standard, like, I don't know, how not to summon a demon lord. Yeah, it's very different. But the Saint's magic power is omnipotent is a throwback to the traditional isekai, which didn't have to be action adventures. It just meant different world. And I don't think it's cottagecore. because sometimes it is like dramatic. There are big moments that happen in it. It is just often relaxing, and a little slower paced. But it's a romance anime that happens to also involve people traveling to a different world. But there's action in it. There was some drama last week. There's some drama this week that's not action related. Um, but overall, I wouldn't call it chill. I would just call it a romance show because it is about our main girl who traveled to a different world, and because of her heart and ability, she suddenly has a bunch of suitors. Some of whom have made their interest known, others that haven't made it known of their interest in her, and for the most, and her embarrassment of it, and also her like feeling pretty neat about it, being pursued, the budding romance that is happening. But yeah, it's a different vibe than other isekai, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is like cottage core. I was like, meh, that's bad. It was just bad. It just got my goat because I didn't like that description. But in this, okay, so in the last episode, Sai, who is our isekai girl that is the saint, one of the isekai girls, but the one that is the saint, she tapped into this ability that, wait, this looks, okay, so it goes like that. Now, where exactly does this go? This wants to fit in next to this, so it's going to go here. Okay, great, that goes there. So Sai, she has this thing called the Saint's Conjuring, which destroyed, like, the reason she got summoned is she and another girl both got summoned because there are monsters out there, and there's this miasma. Lastbrook says, I found out that the father of Gundam, Tomino, might have actually made one of the first isekai back in the 80s. Ooh, I wouldn't doubt it. So here's the thing. I've talked about the history of isekai because it just means different world, right? I mean, so the traditional isekai, your Fushigi-Yugis, your Escaflones, your Inuyashas, are inspired by novels in Japan of people traveling to other worlds, which were commonly young ladies doing it because they were inspired by Alice in Wonderland, and Wizard of Oz and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's an Oz adaptation that is definitely an early isekai. I think there's a really well push to call everything isekai. Like, well, the T, because it just means different world, and it is a subcategory. Part of it is because like Dot Hack was never big, but Sword Art Online. I mean, Dot Hack is big in the video game sense, not in the anime sense. But Sword Art Online was huge, and modern isekai is business. It's a good business. So it makes sense that and also they're a popular visual novel. Gets pulled into another dimension that is a fantasy world with mechs. Oh, that's Aura Battler, Dunbind. Yeah. I mean, that is an early example. So the thing is, also the term isekai as a subgenre gets retrofitted to a lot of shows that it wasn't called that. Fushigi Yugi is just a romance action series that later they're like, oh, that's an isekai. People were calling Tenchi Muyo follows the archetype of the modern isekai in that you have a guy surrounded by a lot of ladies who has some unexplained abilities. It's that part of the harem. Then we were just calling it a harem-ish anime, or a full-blown harem anime. We weren't referring to it as an isekai. Although some people argue that Tenchi Muyo is a inverse isekai, a reverse isekai, because it is a bunch of aliens and off-worlders coming to Tenchi, to a different world, but also he's the son of an alien as well. So it's not a 1-to-1. But then like War on Geminar, which is a Tenchi Muyo, which is his younger brother, that's just a straight up isekai. That's a modern isekai because he is from Earth, and then he goes to an alien world full of people. with little to no explanation of his abilities and powers. But anyway, I got sidetracked. Anyway, yes, they call a lot of things isekai that are isekai. It just means different world. The fact that it's become a subcategory is a fairly recent phenomenon, and yeah, people go back to add the label to other shows that were isekai as well. In this instance, it does fit. This is two girls that were summoned to a different world, and Sai has some magic powers because she is the saint. And people are like talking about it. Like people are just like, "Hey, did you hear what the saint did? Like this girl is definitely the saint. Why is the prince so focused on the other girl who isn't the saint?" But anyway, basically we've come to learn there was a whole episode dedicated to Arya, who is the other girl. We've come to learn that she definitely isn't the saint, and Kyle, the prince, fucked up because he ignored Sai because he was just like, she just seems plain. She's not the saint. This other girl is definitely the saint because she's whatever. So he made like a rude jest, like ignored her, was really rude about it, and he's doubled down on that. But he knows he fucked up. But he's like, look, if I like accuse her of something, like we can't send her back. She's trapped here. The least I can do is pretend like, like I've been disgraced and I don't know what's going on. So he's been like rude. His fiance has been like, I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I do know I don't like what's happening. And then Tenchi GXP, which I think is a random neighbor or cousin who gets press ganged into the space police by space pirate. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. But that one's in outer space and it's in the world. I don't remember everything about that series. But, at a certain point, all those series outside of... Well, the manga of Dual, in the manga for Dual, it is heavily implied that it is a future version of the universe from Tenchi, that there is a connection between that, and there is later a character that was in that is in another show. So, that is implied to be part of the universe. But for a long time, Dual wasn't. But basically, this one dude has just made the same series over and over and over again in various incarnations of that. Which, honestly, hell yeah, go for it. But anyway, this show, what I'm talking about, there's a confrontation. And Prince Kyle, suggests that Sei is a fake saint. And he's doing that on purpose. And then, he goes to like grab her or something, I think knowing that Hawk is there. Hawk, of course, stops that from happening. The king gets involved. And the deal they make basically keeps Arya. Arya is now a victim of Kyle, not a fake, and so she'll be protected. And for the first time ever, Sai and Arya and Ara, I should say, and Liz have a meal together. They have tea and snacks, and it's these two girls who don't really have a lot in common from Japan get to hang out. Sai suggests that she study with the mages because she's clearly a competent mage, and that would be beneficial. That's something she could do. And because Sai's there a lot, they could have tea together, which is the thing that Ara is most interested in, is like having the opportunity to like hang out with her friends and have tea. And also this connection because they're both from Japan. They're different ages, but they're both from Japan. And yeah, it's just a nice little thing. It's nice for them. And then, we had this nice moment, but it's episode 9 of 12, and we just had some action in the last episode, so there's going to be more action. Sai's going to be going, she's going to be going on another mission because she is the saint, so she's got to heal people. I mean, the reason she got summoned was because all these monsters and the miasma of the monsters, or the miasma that causes the monsters, they got to solve this. But they're heading into an area that is known for having a lot of herbs and healing herbs that she hasn't had contact with, and she is most interested in seeing that. And of course, Hawk will be there, which gives more opportunity for them to have their romance stuff, which is very good. I love this show. It is one of my favorite shows this season. Um, because it is just a lovely romance show that happens to be set in a different world that is fantasy, and it's hunky guys and a very strong female lead who is still like strong in her convictions, but also like very clueless about like the idea of being desired is not something that crosses her mind. And it's just it's just a good show. The music is great. It looks beautiful. I'm a big fan. It is just the Saint's magic power is omnipotent. It's a great show. Okay, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S short animation series is too long a title for what this is, which is just they made a short 2-minute episode series to remind you of how fun Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is before the second season starts, because the second season is gonna start in July. So they made this as like a in this episode, there are short little things. Kobayashi, the human, she is combing Kana's hair, and then Kana's like, I wanna do your hair, and all her choices make Kobayashi look very young. They are children's hairstyles. They don't look great. And the third option is pigtails, like Toru has, and then Kana insists that Kobayashi have that for at least one day. And it's just a cute little like, the youngest dragon who is still a child that she's like taken care of. And it's just like, yeah, it's a nice little big sis or mom and daughter moment. Big sis, little sis moment. It's cute. It's just a cute little thing. It's a fun little short little series that reminds me like, yeah, I like this show. Also, because it is a short little series, there have not been any like weird, gross moments, which has been great. Because that show does have moments that are not great in it. So this has been nice so far. Just nice little fun moments. And then the other show I've loved this season, my favorite show of the season by a large margin, Super Cub. Oh, this episode of Super Cub. It's 9 out of 12 episodes. So we've got our two girls. We've got Koguma, who is our main character. She's the girl that in the very first episode, she says, I don't have any money. I don't have any family. I don't have any friends. She just doesn't have a lot going on. But she does buy a very inexpensive pre-owned Cub, which is basically a souped-up moped or a low-powered motorcycle. It is in between the two. It is like licensed as a motorcycle, but it is basically an overpowered scooter. And she gets that, and her life opens up. Possibilities change for her. And then she meets Raiko, who also has a cub. She has a different kind of cub, not a super cub, but a hunter cub. And she's an enthusiast and does all this work and knows what she's doing, and is real gung-ho. And she's into like the world and like the history, and like she's a cub nerd or a cub otaku. Anyway, they kind of make a friendship together. They eat lunch on their cubs, like in the parking lot, because that's also where people park their bikes. And Koguma smiles. You're starting to see her world open up. The possibility space has definitely opened for her from having this bike. She is definitely different than how you see her in the first couple episodes. And in this episode, it's unusually cold for the fall, and Koguma is not loving it because, they're on a bike. They have these little extenders for their hands, which a lot of delivery people use, but it's not doing it. They're struggling. Both of them are struggling because, they're wearing a skirt. Their school uniform is a skirt, and they got to wear that when they're on their bike, and they're not loving that, getting to school. And it's probably getting too cold to eat, but she, who is the third character in the show, she is not a Super Cub person, but they have made friends with her. And she brings them some hot tea milk because she works at a bakery and cafe, and that is a thing that she's real into. Um, and they they're there and they're talking about like, oh well, Kogma's like, I don't really have the money to get what I need, which is like a better coat. Yet at least, yeah, Lashbrook. Right now, she is a friends. She has met two cool girls. She is an enthusiast of Koguma and Raiko. So that is the thing she's into right now is her friends. Um, so they're like, yeah, I don't really have the money for this. And then Koguma has this, or sorry, no, so she has this old wool coat that she never really wore. It's like this like untreated wool that is apparently great and comfy. And later we meet somebody who is a big wool. She's like really into that wool. She's like, well, you got to use it. I'll help you out. But yeah, Koguma's like, sure. And they go to school to make some alterations to it because they're going to make it an inside lining for her regular coat. And then they're going to make stockings out of it for Raiko. And this is the first time that she is on the back of a cub. So she rides on the back of Raiko's cub and freaks out that they're going too fast. And it's cute. They get to the school. A teacher helps them out. And she also, with the leftover fabric, makes a thermos cozy. So everybody gets something. But that is not going to do it. It's good at first, but as we're getting into almost winter, it's like this is not going to be enough. The wind is still really cold. Their legs are still cold. They've been debating it. They didn't want to do it. One of them didn't want to spend the money. The other didn't want something ugly on their vehicle. Is it time to get a windshield? Like a plastic windshield that you can attach, or a plexiglass windshield you can attach to the front that will block the wind, but it doesn't look that great. And both of them were like, so they're both not into it. But they go to a place where they've gotten some parts before, and they borrow to ride a old beat up Cub that has a windshield on it. And the difference is dramatic. The difference is so much that even though it's ugly and it's out of budget and it's going to probably eventually might be an issue, they get one. And it's been a little while since we saw a big smile on Koguma's face. It's been a hot minute since we saw that, which is great that she is just like, they've done it. They figured out the stuff they need. They can winterize their Cubs. None of it's permanent. They can take them off when they don't need it, when it gets warm again, and take the hand warmer things off, and the inside lining things can go. But now they have solved their problems, for now anyway. And also, as Lasberg points out, maybe at the end there is a point where she is just like, it's SHII. She's just like, what's so great? Are Cubs that great? Like, she's a little envious, but also maybe a little jealous, and she definitely wants. I don't know. She's got her friends, like people that she likes and thinks are pretty cool. They kind of helped her out a lot, so she's wondering, like, maybe these are pretty cool. And the show is just great, folks. I can't recommend it enough. I am just completely, totally love Super Cub. It's on Funimation. It comes out on Wednesdays. It is a fantastic series that I just adore, that I look forward to. Yeah, and like I said, two of my three favorite shows this season are Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday shows. So it's very nice to have that, to be able to talk about those on Thursdays. And then my other favorite show is Those Snow White Notes, which just had a lull and has now just been like hitting it and nailing it, and kind of what I wish the show had been the whole time. I wish he had gone from like directly into competition instead of this long process of just like the weird kind of scenes that happened. But Can't always get what you want. When did I miss this piece? I missed a piece back here. I missed these pieces. Nice thing about Lego. I missed this step. I can correct my mistake. And I just did. And then I need 2 clear pieces to go in the front of the car. This is coming together very easy. I will definitely, we're not going to finish this tonight, obviously, but I will definitely finish this on Saturday. So thank you to Jam for picking this up on my wish list. And if you're if you're a $10 patron, because I have a few $10 patrons, tomorrow they're going to get a patron message asking them to pick what I build next. And it could be a bunch of things. Could it be the Barbatos? Could it be the Fire Dragon Lego set? Could it be the Earth Tree Gundam, which has some clear parts from another kit that they were meant for the other kit, but I have some clear parts to put on this instead. Will it be the Extreme Gundam? Will it be the Jesta, which I bought with my YouTube, my Google AdSense money? I bought the Jesta. I'm going to put up probably those as choices, and we'll see what my $10 patrons vote for. Maybe I won't put the maybe I'll put the Barbatos or the Earth Tree up. I won't put both up. So I'll put like a couple high grades, a master grade, and a Lego set. I'll give them 4 choices. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll save the Earth Tree. I'm excited, or the Earthery. It's not a tree. I keep saying tree. It's Earthery. The Earthery is like one of those. It's a Gundam Build Divers. So it's like a little kit, little core kit that transforms, and then has armor on top of it. And some of that armor from a previous kit I built, it had clear parts. So I have an extra sheet from a different kit that I can swap in some clear parts on this, which will just kind of like customize it. And I've been saving that long since that last one, because I was like, oh, eventually I'll build that and that'll look fucking cool. So my $10 patrons will decide, they'll vote tomorrow, and then I'll know for Saturday, and then I'll be able to, on Saturday, I'll be able to, start a new project. Maybe it'll be a Lego set, that Lego 3-in-1. Maybe it'll be, I don't know. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe it'll be the Extreme or the Jesta. I don't know. I got options. But all right, so we're putting this here. We're doing these circles here. Putting that right there. I don't see that on the photo. Interesting. That's interesting. The photo that comes with it, the official photo here, doesn't have these extra lights in the front. These lights that I put right here are not on this photo. I guess maybe they're optional. That's weird. Or like, it's like, oh, you take them off for racing, and this is like the other thing. I don't know. But that is, or maybe they're covered up. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that they're not there, because this covers up the Audi logo there. But yeah, I don't know. Because you can see it's just not there. So I don't know. I guess these are just extra parts that aren't in the photo. But whatever. Sure. Oh, we're going to do 2 more. Yeah, oh, yeah, you see what I mean. Yeah. We got 2 more decals to put on here. We will call the stream soon. And we are going to raid. So remember, folks, we do end every stream with a raid. Where we'll go and show some love to somebody else out there who's streaming and hanging out, and go see what they're up to. So we will do that tonight. Those are like off-road lights. Yeah, so that's my thinking. Yeah. Or a night rally, says Jam. Okay, I can see that. It's just interesting because the promotional photo that I have that was not is just not there on that. So I was like, hey, what are these extra lights I'm putting on? All right, and so we'll put this on here. Oh, that's like transitioning from that to that. That's neat. Got a lot of decals that have to go on this kit, so which is fine because they look neat. And as always, you can kind of figure that out. Yeah, so I guess those are off-road lights, and we can take them off if we wanted to. But I don't know. We'll leave them on now because we're instructed to build them and assemble them. So, all right, and then that's going to go on here. Great. All right, we'll do one. We'll just do one more step. What do I got going on here? Oh, I got a spam text message, folks. Isn't that fun? Somebody sent me some text message that's spam. Neat. Cool, cool. That's just a link from an email address texted to me. Weird. I'll definitely click on. No, I won't click on that. Don't worry. I'm not going to click on that. So yeah, my next stream will be on Saturday, so I hope you come back for that, where I will be working on this and finishing up by the end, and then starting a new thing. I mean, it will take like a good portion of the stream to build all this, because you know, got to do all these stickers, and that does take a little while. But we'll get to that. We got a lot of progress done here already, and then we'll Audi Sport. Yeah, we'll continue with the build. And then I'll build some kind of model kit or a different Lego set. I imagine that one of my guess is either the Jesta or the Extreme will get picked, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be something else. But yeah, that's my assumption. Either the Extreme, which just looks rad, or the Jesta, which is rad and also very expensive, and that did win the poll, so that a lot of people took part in, not just my $10 patrons. So I don't know, but maybe I'll be wrong, and they're gonna vote for the Barbatos, the high grade Barbatos, the only high grade from that for some reason I never built that high grade. I don't know why. I just never built it. It's the only so far release, I believe. I've looked at it, and I'm pretty sure it's the only kit that I haven't built from Iron Blooded Orphans, because I built all the high grades. So right now I think that's it. I think that's the only one I haven't done. So that's very strange. But anyway, I am going to go and give a raid. So thank you to everybody for being here. Please stick around as we go and raid. We'll find somebody cool out there doing some cool stuff, and we'll see what they're up to and send them some love. Let's see, who is streaming right now? Okay, well, we could do that. Xandra is playing a game, something called Crosscode, and I don't know what that is, but I love being able to raid Xandra because she is just the best. So we're going to go give Xandra a raid. I'm not sure what Crosscode is, but it's pixely, and there's some dialogue, and it looks fun, and we're going to go give that a raid because we love Xandra here. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope you will come and hang out on my next stream on Saturday night, where we continue working on this and then start something new. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday night. I'll be hanging out in Xandra's chat for a bit, and then I will be jumping out to upload this video and to get out of my chair. So I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you on the next Build with Baer. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great night, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.